Many people believe the narcissist always ends up with someone powerful, admired, or emotionally strong. That idea feels logical, but depth psychology tells us something far more uncomfortable. The unconscious does not choose what looks impressive on the surface. It chooses what feels safe to the wounded inner self. A narcissist is not running toward love. They are running away from their own shadow. So they do not stay with those who see too deeply. They stay with those who make self-deception easy. Someone quiet, someone accommodating, someone who mistakes emotional absence for peace. Carl Jung warned that when the shadow is avoided, it quietly shapes destiny. In this reflection, we will explore who the narcissist actually ends up with and why it is almost never who society expects. Stay with me until the end, because one insight may suddenly rearrange how you understand past relationships. And if a certain line feels uncomfortably familiar, leave a single word in the comments that captures what's stirred inside you. If this kind of psychological truth matters to you, stay connected. There is much more beneath the surface. The narcissist does not end up with love in the way most people understand it. They end up with a mirror, because a mirror is safer than a soul. At the center of narcissism is not confidence, but a fragile inner self that cannot tolerate being truly seen. Love requires two whole people meeting in truth, and truth is exactly what the narcissist avoids. So instead of seeking a partner, they seek a reflection, someone who echoes their opinions, supports their image, and quietly adjusts themselves to keep the narcissist feeling intact. This choice is not conscious or calculated. It is driven by the unconscious need to survive emotionally without confronting inner emptiness. The person they end up with is rarely chosen for passion or depth. They are chosen for their ability to disappear without protest. Often, this person learned very early in life that love means adapting, staying quiet, and placing their own needs second. They may be empathetic, patient, and deeply loyal, but these qualities slowly become tools rather than gifts. Over time, the relationship stops being an exchange and becomes a one-sided reflection. The narcissist sees themselves everywhere, while the other person slowly fades. This is why the relationship can last longer than expected. A mirror does not challenge, question, or demand growth. It only reflects back what stands before it. For the narcissist, this feels like peace, even though it is emotional stagnation. For the partner, it feels like confusion, because they are present yet unseen. They may sense that something is missing, but cannot name it, because they were taught long ago that love requires endurance. The narcissist is drawn to this familiarity. It mirrors their own early wounds, where love was conditional and acceptance depended on performance. In such a dynamic, the narcissist feels powerful, but also strangely empty, because reflection can never replace connection, and the partner feels devoted, yet slowly disconnected from themselves. This is the quiet tragedy of the mirror relationship. On the surface, it looks stable. There may be routine, loyalty, even shared history, but beneath it, there is no meeting of inner worlds. There is only one person being seen, and one person learning to survive by not being seen at all. This is why the narcissist does not end up fulfilled, even when they appear settled. And this is why the person they end up with often feels lost, without understanding how it happened. It was never about love. It was about safety, reflection, and the silent agreement to keep the deeper self hidden. Strength does not attract the narcissist in the way many people assume. In fact, real strength quietly repels them. At first, they may feel drawn to confident or emotionally grounded individuals because strength reflects something they wish they possessed. There is excitement in that chase, a temporary sense of expansion, but this interest rarely lasts. True emotional strength does not bend, and it does not disappear to protect another person's fragile self. It asks questions. It holds boundaries. It sees beneath the surface. And that is where the narcissist begins to feel exposed. Their carefully built image depends on control and admiration, not mutual honesty. A healed or self-aware person does not provide endless validation, and they do not mistake charm for depth. Over time, this becomes deeply unsettling for the narcissist, because emotional strength threatens the false self they rely on to function. It reflects what is missing rather than what is impressive. So the narcissist retreats, often without explanation, and seeks what feels familiar instead. Familiarity, in this case, is emotional imbalance. It is someone who doubts themselves, someone who adapts quickly, someone who mistakes intensity for connection. This dynamic allows the narcissist to remain unchallenged. The relationship feels stable to them because there is no pressure to grow, no invitation to face unresolved wounds. The partner may feel needed, even chosen, but what is really being chosen is their willingness to tolerate imbalance. Strength would disrupt this fragile order. A strong person notices inconsistencies. They sense emotional absence. They do not stay silent when something feels wrong. That awareness slowly dismantles the illusion the narcissist depends on. So, while weakness is not consciously sought, it becomes the safer option. The narcissist settles with someone who normalizes chaos, who explains away emotional neglect, and who absorbs the instability rather than naming it. This is not because the narcissist wants to hurt anyone, but because their inner world cannot survive genuine intimacy. Emotional strength would demand accountability, and accountability threatens collapse. In this way, the narcissist does not reject strength out of arrogance, but out of fear. Fear of being seen without the mask. Fear of losing control over how they are perceived. So, they choose a partner who does not challenge their inner narrative, someone whose own unresolved patterns align with theirs. And this is why such relationships can last for years, even while feeling deeply unsatisfying. The narcissist feels safe, but never fulfilled. The partner feels attached, but never truly met. Strength, in the end, does not lose. It simply walks away, leaving the narcissist to settle into a dynamic that feels familiar, predictable, and emotionally incomplete. The narcissist's final partner is rarely chosen for passion, intensity, or emotional depth. Over time, what matters most to the narcissist is silence. Not the peaceful silence that comes from understanding, but the quiet that avoids disruption. Passion brings unpredictability. It brings emotion, desire, and the risk of being seen too clearly. Silence, on the other hand, offers control. It allows the narcissist to maintain the version of themselves they present to the world without interference. In the beginning, the relationship may appear normal, even warm, but slowly the dynamic shifts. Questions become unwelcome. Honest conversations feel threatening. Any attempt to address emotional distance is subtly discouraged or dismissed. The partner learns, often without realizing it, that staying quiet keeps the relationship stable. This silence is not demanded openly. It is trained through withdrawal, mood shifts, or emotional punishment. Over time, the partner adapts, speaking less, asking less, needing less. And this adaptation is precisely what makes them the narcissist's long-term choice. A partner who does not confront allows the narcissist to avoid their own inner chaos. Truth has a way of disturbing carefully maintained illusions, and the narcissist depends on those illusions to function. When someone reflects truth back to them, it threatens to expose the emptiness they are trying to outrun. So they choose someone who will not mirror reality, but will absorb discomfort quietly. As this continues, the partner becomes emotionally invisible. Their inner world, their needs, their disappointments slowly fade into the background. They are present in form, but absent in recognition. From the outside, the relationship may look calm, even stable. There are fewer conflicts, fewer visible storms, but this calm is built on suppression, not understanding. The narcissist feels relief in this arrangement, mistaking the absence of challenge for peace. Yet beneath that surface, the relationship lacks vitality. There is no shared emotional movement, no mutual curiosity, no growth. The partner may feel numb, confused, or strangely empty, unable to explain why closeness feels so distant. This is the cost of being chosen for silence. The narcissist is not seeking to dominate. They are seeking to avoid collapse. Silence keeps their inner disorder hidden, both from the partner and from themselves. And so the relationship settles into a quiet routine, where one voice fills the space and the other slowly disappears. This is why the final partner often feels unseen and unheard, even after years together. They were not chosen for who they are, but for what they allow to remain unspoken. And in this unspoken space, the narcissist feels protected, while true connection quietly slips away. The narcissist avoids depth not because they do not desire happiness, but because depth threatens the structure that keeps them emotionally intact. Deep emotional intimacy requires presence, vulnerability, and the courage to be seen without armor. It invites both people to look inward, to acknowledge fear, shame, longing, and unmet needs. For the narcissist, this kind of closeness is dangerous. Carl Jung spoke of the shadow as the hidden part of the psyche, formed by what we reject, deny, or cannot tolerate within ourselves. When intimacy deepens, the shadow inevitably rises. Old wounds surface. Fragile self-images begin to crack. The narcissist senses this long before it becomes conscious and instinctively retreats. They learn to associate depth with discomfort, exposure, and potential collapse. So, instead of moving toward joy, they move towards safety. Safety, in this case, means emotional distance. It means keeping conversations shallow, feelings controlled, and vulnerability tightly managed. They stay with someone who does not demand more than they can give, someone who accepts emotional absence as normal, even mature. This partner may describe the relationship as calm, stable, or drama-free, without realizing that peace has been confused with emptiness. Over time, joy fades quietly. There is no shared excitement, no emotional discovery, no sense of being deeply known. But this absence feels tolerable to the narcissist because it does not threaten their inner balance. Happiness, in its truest form, requires aliveness, and aliveness requires risk. The narcissist cannot afford that risk. They would rather live within emotional limits than face the possibility of unraveling. The partner, meanwhile, slowly adapts. They lower expectations, explain away distance, and tell themselves that not everyone needs emotional closeness. They may feel lonely even while being together, but they struggle to name it because nothing is overtly wrong. This is how the relationship survives, through quiet compromises and unspoken agreements. The narcissist remains protected from their shadow, and the partner learns to live without depth. Yet beneath this arrangement, something essential is missing. There is no shared emotional growth, no transformation, no true intimacy. The narcissist avoids pain, but they also avoid joy, and the partner accepts peace, but loses connection. This is the hidden cost of choosing safety over depth. From the outside, the relationship appears functional. From the inside, it feels hollow. And slowly, without drama or collapse, happiness is replaced by emotional stillness, mistaken for stability. In the complex dance of relationships, the narcissist often ends up with someone who unknowingly carries the weight of their shadow. In Jungian psychology, the shadow represents the parts of ourselves we deny or refuse to acknowledge: our fears, insecurities, and unresolved wounds. The narcissist, burdened by a fragile sense of self, projects this shadow onto their partner. This projection is unconscious, yet it profoundly shapes the relationship dynamic. The partner becomes a container for all the emotions, fears, and conflicts the narcissist refuses to face within themselves. Over time, this creates a silent but heavy burden. The partner may feel emotionally drained, confused by the unpredictable moods and demands placed upon them. They begin to lose sight of their own identity as they absorb the shadow that is not theirs to carry. This process is subtle and gradual. At first, it may seem like normal relationship challenges, disagreements, emotional distance, moments of frustration. But beneath the surface, the partner is taking on something far deeper, the unresolved darkness that the narcissist refuses to own. This is the unspoken cost of staying in such a relationship. The partner sacrifices pieces of themselves in an effort to maintain peace or keep the narcissist's fragile world intact. They may suppress their own needs, desires, and emotions to avoid conflict or rejection. Over time, this can lead to a profound sense of loss of self, loss of clarity, and loss of emotional freedom. The narcissist, meanwhile, remains shielded from their own shadow by projecting it outward. This defense mechanism protects their fragile ego but prevents genuine growth or healing. Because the shadow is not integrated, the narcissist's inner turmoil continues to influence the relationship in ways that often feel unpredictable and exhausting. The partner, caught in this dynamic, may feel trapped in a cycle of caretaking and emotional labor, unaware that they are carrying a weight that is not theirs to bear. This relationship dynamic creates an imbalance where one person gives endlessly while the other takes without awareness or accountability. The more the partner carries the shadow, the more the narcissist avoids facing their own inner truth. In this way, the cycle perpetuates itself, leaving both parties stuck in patterns of pain and misunderstanding. Understanding this pattern is crucial for anyone involved in such a dynamic. It reveals why breaking free can feel so difficult, and why healing requires both recognizing the projection and reclaiming one's own sense of self. It also shows the profound cost of staying silent or unaware, the slow erosion of identity and emotional well-being. Ultimately, the narcissist's choice to project their shadow forces their partner into a role they never asked for, and the partner's willingness or inability to resist this projection shapes the course of the relationship. This silent, invisible burden is the hidden price of loving someone who cannot yet love themselves fully.